Hey everybody. Sorry about that. Is anybody still here? I'm so sorry about getting on here late. I had something come up, and I guess I'm a little bit out of. I'm not out of use. I'm not used to getting on here so live so early. So I'm trying to catch up with the comments. Darren was here. Hey, Red Barons was here. Dean. Sorry everybody. Darren. And this might be a short one too. My phone only has about 40%. So hey, great gym is something to wear to bed, though. Bad batting average going to Dean. What do you mean by that? Blind buying? How's everybody doing this evening? Y'all ready to hang out and chill a little bit? I got a little bit. My longer live will probably be tomorrow. This will be a shorter live. Everybody's popping in and kind of going away. Is there another live going on right now that I don't know of? Do I have a bad connection? Let's see here. So Dean hasn't been having good luck with the blind buys. Darren, hey everybody, how are you doing? Everybody who's popping in, I'm finally here. I was late. Please forgive me. I'm very sorry about that, guys and gals, ladies and gents. Had something come up, and I pretty much blanked. And sorry. Any good citrus fragrance recommendations? There's a lot of them. Edition Blanche, Chanel Allure Edition Blanche is one of my favorites. There's one by a new house called Marametta, and it's just called like lemon leather vanilla, and it's a really long lasting lemon. I like the citrus, and it's very long lasting. It's Starry Nights by Montal. That's definitely a good one to go for if you're wanting a long lasting citrus. If you want more of a fruity citrus, and there was a lady on my Instagram live this morning who was asking about a fruity citrus. And if you're wanting that, and if you want really long lasting, go for Mandrake by Gallimard. It's again, this house is not very well known. It's spelled Galimard, I believe it is. It's a very loud fragrance, especially in the opening. It'll definitely last you a long time. Darren says I got good performance from the rhubarb one. Which one was that? Dean says, "Oh yeah, maybe the bar's too high." We all get really picky. Trust me. I'm kind of getting to that point where I've tried most of the designers. I'll still keep up with the new designer releases and odds and ends here and there, but I'm looking more towards the niche in the future. And as I keep going on, I do get pickier and pickier with you as I go on with fragrances. So everybody has a different attitude towards fragrances. Some people are collectors, some people buy to just be practical. And I'm always searching for the best of the best of fragrances. Sometimes I find a new fragrance and I sell something off of my collection that I used to dearly love. I used to love that fragrance. But if I find something better, at least in my opinion, I'm good. That's what I'm going to be wearing. That's just what I'm going to go for. Were you wearing it in the heat? Jim in the house. Yeah, it was supposed to start like an hour ago. That's my bad. Bad weather heading his way. Be safe, Ben. I'm here. So hey, everybody. So how's the life? How's the fragrance world? What you've been wearing? What you've been into? Life is crazy. So I just had to run and make a big errand and everything. So for me on my fragrance journey, it's also been really interesting that I've gotten to the point where I want to have more fun. I want to put more of my personality out there. I will continue to share fragrances. That's what I always do. I always talk about fragrances, and that's what I'm passionate about. But I do want to put more of my personality out there. Maybe I want to be a little bit more myself. I do want to present things and have things make sense. I do want to make my videos. I don't know. I want my videos to be worthwhile and effective in helping you, understand and for my videos to essentially, I don't know, be precise enough and be make enough sense, but I also want to have a little bit more fun. So hopefully y'all will enjoy that if that's okay. If that get to be a little bit more laid back, put even more of my personality out there. That's what I feel like I want to do on my YouTube channel. So I hope that y'all enjoy that. So please forgive my dogs going crazy over there. Anyways, what's your scent of the day, everybody? How's the world going? And please forgive me for not showing up on time. I thought I should have known this was going to happen. I should have known. I said, "What's up, Ben? Please like the stream, please." Oh, yeah, thank you. That does help me. as a YouTuber if you do. I think it does help if you like this stream. So thank you for the love fragrance journey. I do appreciate you. You're pretty awesome, man. I love your content too. You're all into the ouds. Um, I don't think you've gotten into any of the tars, but if you ever do decide to jump into that world, I know that you'll probably be one of the most knowledgeable people around on a tars if you ever decide to get into that, and I'll definitely be looking for your recommendations for those as well. So, um, nice guy, awesome stuff. Darren says sent a piece for him. That's a good one. Very, very easygoing, very mass appealing. Do you like it better than Aventus fragrances, or do you think it has no similarities at all? Do you think it's kind of similar or not? So, interested to see what you think. For me personally, I've been buying a little bit too many fragrances for my own good. I'm probably going to slow down. I just had Kenzo Jungle Pour Homme, a vintage bottle, come in, and I don't want to spoil my haul videos, but I have another small haul I got from Fragrance Net, and I've had some other odds and ends come in. It's okay. Yeah, I appreciate y'all for giving me. I did announce this. What I was supposed to be on here like an hour ago, and I was actually, almost forgot. I know looked at the clock, and I'm like, something's wrong. I got. Not only did I get distracted, I had something come up that unusual. So it's okay. What do you think of the House of Oud? I honestly haven't really tried any of them, at least as far as I remember. I need to explore a lot of houses. I've tried most of the major ones, but I haven't tried many of those. If you are familiar with my Instagram, I have the video up, so I think I'm going to upload it Sunday, just willy nilly. It'll be a replay of me introducing a bunch of my first impressions of or second impressions of a bunch of samples. And I really like Bianchi's work. If you're really into niche, I think Francesca Bianchi makes some wonderful fragrances, and so does Bruno Fazzolari. I actually got there's a really genuine viewer, and he knows who he is out there, and he decided to send me some stuff for free, some samples and all. And I've really been some of the fragrances in there were perfect. I've been wanting to try Fragrance Views fragrances, Dandera, and Gaia, Peter over there, and I'll be having my reviews come out on some of those fragrances. And I had Corpse Reviver brought by Bruno Fazzolari in there. I absolutely love it. I had a good impression on it, and I actually was considering blind buying it sometime in the future. I got that sample, and by golly, that fragrance does some kind of magic for me. I don't know why. It's a daring fragrance for sure. It's one of the most daring fragrances I might have ever smelled. So, Hi Ben says, "What do you think of Kenneth Cole Mankind?" Honestly, I don't know if I've smelled that one yet either. It seems to be getting a fair amount of popularity, a decent amount of talk as a good affordable fragrance. It might be one I have to blind buy on the channel just to review it for you guys sometime. Um, I am trying to keep my collection down. I don't like to have a huge collection, and I personally believe that some people are collectors, and again, nothing against them, but if you're a little bit practical minded, or if you're on a budget like I am, you want to buy and have the fragrances that you absolutely love in your collection. And, you know, I buy things and sell things for reviews, but I'm trying to really keep things down. I'm trying to reduce my blind buying. But if y'all really want a fragrance review of something, and there's a big demand for it, I'll do it for y'all. Especially if it helps out people who just don't have a big budget. Like I blind bought Guess 1981 Indigo, and that was for y'all. I ended up giving that fragrance away. I bought that fragrance and reviewed it for you, the people. So hope that y'all enjoyed that one. Hope that y'all did. Let's see here, Kenneth Cole, Mankind. What do you think about it? Is it worth seeking out? Is it worth blind buying? Thank you. Really interested in clean, fresh scents. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there. Clean, fresh scents. There's a lot of them. Designer wise, you can't go wrong with a lot of them. But I do have my own personal preferences. I think that Nautica Voyage, for the money, is probably a huge bang for your buck. It's one of the biggest compliment getters. It's one of the easiest to wear, and it smells nice. It smells like a lot better quality than 20 bucks that you can get it for. And I've seen that one on Black Fridays and Cyber, special holiday sales. And I've seen that one go as low as $14 a bottle for Nautica Voyage. So sometimes it's dirt cheap and it's really good. So I do like clean, fresh scents sometimes, but I do tend to lean towards the darker scents, towards the deeper, the coffees, tobaccos, ouds, woods, leathers, those kinds of things. So never duplicated frags is in the house. Hey yo, Solano in the house. Hey, how you doing? Happy to see you too, and Fragrance Journey if you're still here. Pretty cool reviewers. Check them out for sure. Yeah, fresh, clean scents are definitely going to be really nice for the high heat if you're outdoors. I talk about seasonal fragrances, but if you're indoors, it doesn't matter that much, which I have been critiqued about that before, and it's true. But you know, when you are outdoors, you do want to wear in the high heat if you're 90 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but you do want something a little bit more simple, is the better way to put it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the freshest, but fresh is better in the heat. But it needs to be something that's a little bit more simple, because if it's a more composed fragrance, a more artistic fragrance, it's gonna, it's not really going to evaporate, or it's not, gonna evolve or be able to change on your skin naturally as much, as it was intended to. And it's also going to push out abnormally because of all the high heat and the sun and the temperature and all that. So, what's your favorite oud perfume? Very hard question. I'm not really sure which one's my favorite. Um, I If we're talking about, you know cost effectiveness, value for money, it's a really hard decision between my 24 gold oud edition and probably my oud saffron by Montal. Is a little bit more expensive, but absolutely worth the money. uh, that Those are cicadas, if y'all or cicadas, if y'all have ever heard those. They're not as bad this year as they were before, but they're loud. Anyways, the favorite ouds. If money was not a problem, I have smelled some ouds that are like $100 a mil. For real wild ouds. There's a special like rainforest one from the Philippines. I've smelled it. It's a little bit more minty like, and the dry down is a little bit more of like a dark patchouli, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely my kind of fragrance, like tropical Thailand oud. So it's a pricey devil though. Sells PO612 says thoughts on Amouage Miss Man. The note breakdown sounds interesting. I have mentioned that fragrance a couple times. It's definitely one that I'd like to own in the future. I've had a sample or two of it. It's not for everybody. It's a daring fragrance. It's quite unusual. It's a dry fragrance. It has a dry Damascus rose. It does feel rose like, but Damascus rose is more dry and it's more spicy. So it doesn't feel like a jammy rose. If you're familiar with Oud Satin Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, it's kind of the opposite of that. It doesn't really have any sweetness, and it doesn't feel jammy or resinous or syrupy at all. It's more airy more than anything. And the fragrance to me, it has other notes in it, and it's a little bit more complex, but mostly smells like Damascus rose and like more of like a gray ash. And that might not sound like something very pleasant, but if you want something that smells like mature and elegant and grown up, and also maybe if you want to smell a little bit like a vampire, it is not it's interesting, and it just works with my vibes. So I definitely like Myths Man, but it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Amouage are definitely probably not blind buy fragrances, if that's what you're possibly thinking of doing. They're very expensive and definitely have a lot of personality. So try to get a sample if you can. Abner says, I was blown away when I smelled Royal Oud by Creed. It's way better than Aventus to my nose. Royal Oud is a good fragrance. A lot of people beat up on it because it doesn't really smell like oud, and it's true. If you're a real oud lover where you like authentic smelling oud, there's almost no oud in that fragrance at all, unless there's a little bit of plantation oud. And you could even speculate that maybe there's just a tiny bit of synthetic oud and no real oud in the fragrance at all. I'm not sure what is true and what's not, but I get it doesn't really matter if you like the scent. That's what matters. It's a very nice cardamom smelling fragrance to me. I don't remember what spices in the fragrance, but it definitely smells like a soft, essential, like gray wood, almost like a silver wood kind of smell, with a lot of cardamom. To my nose, it's very smooth, and to people it's really comforting. I think it was Aaron Terrence Hughes who said it smelled like a very nice older gentleman who'd like hug you, like maybe I don't know, like your uncle or something. I forget exactly what he said, but he thought pretty highly of that fragrance compared to the other creeds, and yeah, it's pretty good. It is. It might seem linear if you're deep into niche for the price. It might seem a little bit more linear, but hey, it's not bad. It's a good fragrance. So, y'all know my problem with Creed. I think they charge too much. But if you like it, I mean, it is nice. Motivated words. Is that you? Motivated living. Did you change your channel, or is that somebody different? Thoughts on Danger Perfume for women uh, from Roja Dove, planning on a blind buy. Truffles. Sorry, the dog's going crazy. Um, is there a Danger version for man and a Danger version for femme? I don't know if I've tried the Porfim version. If there is a Porfim version, I have tried the Cologne and the regular Danger and the Danger Cologne. So if I don't know, is there a Porfim version? Let me know. But if you're thinking about the original, you know, it's a good fragrance. Honestly, Roja Doves haven't excited me personally. I know a lot of people love them. A lot of people pay an arm and a leg for them. More power to them. But for the money, for me, compared to other niche, I don't know. To me, I'm much more entertained by the House of like Nichane, especially for the money. But Danger, I'm trying to remember the notes. I think there was some vetiver. It had some sweetness. It almost had a modern, almost like bubblegummy amber type of nuance to it. I'm trying to. I don't really remember the notes honestly, but it does have a certain rouge or red type of feel about it, and it can be seductive. I think the Danger Cologne was one of the most mass appealing, if not the mass appealing Roja Dove I've smelled besides Roja Elysium for men and the Roja Elixir for women. The Danger Cologne is probably, besides those two, which were made to be mass appealing, it's probably the easiest to wear and probably the most versatile, the Danger Cologne. But I don't know, it didn't last the longest. It was like a 5, maybe 6 hour fragrance on me as well. So I don't know. And I do want to give a shout out to Swift Sense. They have sent me samples, and I'm trying to, I have so many reviews to do, and I have over like 100 videos uploaded in private. I haven't been, done many of those reviews and mentioned them in a while, but Swift Sense is trying to be a decanter. She's a fragrance reviewer. I do want to give her a shout out. She's pretty awesome. So thoughts? I already read that. I would wear it to a gala. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been to one of those, Abner. You must be a little bit more posh and a little bit more fancy than me. I've never been to anything fancy like that, but yeah, that definitely would work. A fragrance that smells a little bit, it's a little bit social. It smells classy and maybe, a little bit, a little bit of that vintage DNA, but it's still modern enough and it's playful and it's a little bit playful. And I think that's maybe why some people like Danger. It has that element of that, when you think of Danger, you might think of a fragrance that's niche like or actually scary. I don't know. I get dislikes. My personality here on YouTube. I have some people who don't like me, and I don't know why. I can't do anything against them, but uh, see here. Anyways, Roja Danger is not scary, as in it's dangerous, but it might make you smell like seductive, as in like a femme fatale, or I don't know, whatever version there is for a masculine, fatale, a male fatale. I don't know, but what I don't know what's up with the dislikes, man. I can only, I only do my part. I can only do my part to help people and be friends with people, and I try to be pretty nice. I try to talk about people's fragrance. I respond to the comments. I compliment people, and I don't know. Not a lot of fragrance reviewers actually get in my streams. Most of the time, I've had Robes, and I've had Gentleman's Journey on Instagram with me. I've had, Centurion sometimes pops in. Solano was here. Fragrance Journey pops in. But sometimes they'll just pop in at the beginning of the live, and I don't know if they're watching throughout. I really don't know what goes on. Who knows? Who knows what goes on? But and I don't know. Maybe there's another live going on. Maybe they think I'm competing with them, and maybe somebody else on another live mentioned me, and they sent over their soldiers or their little troops against me. Who knows? I don't know. The fragrance community sometimes has drama. It's kind of crazy. But let's see here. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Watching from Saudi Arabia. Well, thank you for stopping in. Uh, that's kind of you. Motivated words from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is a beautiful place. Y'all have beautiful incense and people. On Instagram, I've tried to befriend. I think we're pretty good friends with a wonderful lady called Nushin from Iran, and she's wonderful and she's a beautiful lady as well. And y'all are pretty cool people. I actually want to learn how to make tandoori chicken, and I've actually have some spices added in my Amazon cart, and I think I'm going to try to make that and some of that tandoori bread. So I like your cooking too. I don't know how traditional that is, or commonplace tandoori is, but I like spices. So Abner's, how do you say that? Fuentes. Tom Ford Noir Extreme really blew me away too. What do you think of that? It's a great fragrance. It's very smooth. It's pretty seductive. For me personally, my only complaint with it is it's didn't it lasted a decent amount of time, 6 maybe 7 hours, but it didn't project that much. So I don't think that fragrance would get you noticed that much in public. But I also did compliment that fragrance. I forget if I just mentioned it or if I actually did a full length review of that fragrance. But the thing with Tom Ford Extreme is that it's a great date fragrance. It's a great when you're close encounter fragrance, when you're going to be close to somebody, cuddling, Netflix and chill, watching a movie. It will be a fragrance appreciated, by the ladies. I've been kind of tempted to get it, but I've also been tempted to blind buy YSL's Le Parfum, which I have the feeling that it's going to be, have some similarities. But there's not a lot of fragrances that have that type of smell. There's not a lot of fragrances that exactly smell like that. So don't sweat it. Put on your great content, and they're just trolls. Yeah, people out there are crazy. It's a crazy world, man. There's I don't want to blast people. I don't get into the drama, but there's always drama. A family fights. There's family feuds. There's somebody on Instagram, and I don't believe in being political, and that might be where some of the hate's coming from. I had to unfriend a bunch of people over a bunch of political stuff that's going on. I mean, it's fine to have your opinions, but when I'm all about fragrance, and my channel's about fragrance, and if I follow or if I'm subscribed to you, that's all you're posting for a couple of days. I just want to hear about fragrance, and that's what my channel's about. And also, like this guy who talked about boycotting brands and shaming them and all this stuff. There was one time when I did a live, and I had actually announced it before he did, and he said that he was going to do it at the same time that I announced my live. So essentially, I had first dibs because I announced it, and even if I didn't want to, even if I announced mine after his, and it was a conflict of interest, I didn't necessarily have to change it. I'm not near as big as this guy, so I don't know what he was really worrying about. I guess we are a community, so we should work together. But recently, some people, they joke or they insult you, and then they say just joking. And I was asking, I did a comment about my Ginseng fragrance, by I can't even say it right. It's not Javoy. Uh, I can't even think of how to say it right. But y'all know what I'm talking about. My Ginseng NRG fragrance. But anyways, and he was talking about an expensive fragrance that's considered a cheapie for him, but just said he was joking. But essentially, that's like an underhanded kind of way to go, to kind of insult somebody. And this is kind of the second occurrence that he's done something similar like that. So I could take that personally. I really could, and all this political stuff he's doing, which I really, really disagree with. He's being a political leader, and he's banding people together, and he does shout outs only for, I don't want to get into it, but only for certain people, and he rarely shouts out anybody else. And there's all these people who are suggesting that you only buy you know from certain types of people, and you only watch certain people's content based on I won't even get into it, but it's absolutely ridiculous. It's not just, it's not fair, and they're claiming they're on the side of being fair. So people are gonna talk no matter what. Just do you, Ben. It's true. Got to do your own thing. Got to be happy where you are, doing your own thing. And I'm definitely passionate and happy about being a fragrance reviewer. And where I'm at as a channel, it would be nice to be bigger. It would be nice if YouTube liked me more. It would be nice if I grew and blew up as much as some of these people. I've had so many reviewers now. I think there's been 5, 6, maybe 7 of them, and they've doubled, if not tripled me already. But I know that I review niche content. I know that I review indie content that's not as popular, and I know I do my own thing. But I'm happy if I find people who are passionate about learning fragrances that aren't as popular, and happy and learning about fragrances and my style, and how I communicate and making friends. So yeah, got to do your own thing. Got to do your own, live your own life. So anyways, what other topics do y'all want to talk about? Do y'all want to hear more about summer fragrances? Are y'all passionate about What are y'all passionate about hearing? Y'all are looking for recommendations for date fragrances. What's on your mind? Are you looking for a certain note? For me personally, I've really been on an interesting amber kick, and it was in the back of my mind. It was almost subconscious. It was almost unintentional, and I thought that was super super funny. So I got what is it called? Amber Oud by Baldessarini. I've got Amber Fever by Montal. I have Ginger Lover coming in from Azzaro. And I've really been trying to explore and find amber fragrances that actually work for me. Because I like the note of amber, I want to appreciate all kinds of different notes. But sometimes, you got to find what works for you. So I've been on a little bit of an amber kick, even though it's heating up to be the summer. I'm just going to do me. If I feel like amber, I'm going to buy an amber and I'm going to wear an amber. But Abner says people are going to talk. Yeah, it's true. Abner says summer specifics. Okay, summer fragrances. I am going to make a summer list for y'all. A summer list if that's what y'all want. But for me, summer specific fragrances need to be simple, and they need to, of course, be citrusy, but definitely a little bit more on the simple side. Versace Pour Homme is a standard of my collection. It's so easy to wear. It smells soapy and clean, a little bit of neroli. It definitely has that Italian vibe about it, a little bit classy, but you can wear it anywhere, anytime. And some people think it smells a little bit more for an older guy. It's not. It doesn't have the modern sweetness like the Tonka, and it doesn't have the sweetness of like Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultramall. That's a plane flying over if you hear that humming. But I really like Versace Pour Homme. Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Swimming Lipari, in my opinion, is one of the best summer fragrances. I love my Caligna or Kalinga by Les Artisans Parfumeurs. I think it's a beautiful fig, yellow kind of like yellow fig fragrance with frangipani. It's like a beautiful tropical flower. Sorry about the plane, guys. I cannot control that noisy little plane. So hopefully those are some good recommendations for you. But if you want a purely citrus fragrance and you want one of the best bangs for your buck, you can look up Batacuda by Les Artisans Parfumeurs. It's one of the best citrus fragrances I've ever smelled, and you can find it for ridiculously cheap. Again, it's a citrus. Citruses usually don't last the longest unless you have something that's overtly synthetic. But Batacuda is a great summer fragrance. And if you're looking for a $20 fragrance, you're on a budget, y'all know that the Tommy Bahamas will definitely work for you. Saint Bart's, Saint Kitts, and most of them are pretty darn good. Amber Absolute is amazing. Yes, my friend, definitely a great one by Tom Ford. I honestly haven't smelled it. I know that there's a vintage version which is has a cult following, and some people kind of hail it and give it the crown of like the best amber ever made. Honestly, I haven't tried it, but I would like to try the vintage version someday. But I'll have to see what I think about it. You know, sounds from what I can hear a really good one. Summer work, summer nights, summer weekends, running errands. A summer work fragrance. If you're a little bit more mature, if you're a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more of a silent, strong type, you might wear Grey Vetiver by Tom Ford. A lot of people talk about that one and respect it. It'll work in the summer. It's really good. If you're looking for maybe a little bit more of a casual summer fragrance, excuse me, sorry about that. Like a little something that can be worn to the office, but maybe a little bit more for, maybe a younger guy or maybe somebody who's just a tiny bit more playful. You might want to get Bulgari Man Extreme. That's a really good fragrance, and it might be discontinued, but the prices are still quite reasonable. You can get 100 ml, 3.4 ounce for like $35 in the USA on the gray market. So it's a quite good fragrance. Summer nights. Summer nights, I honestly, I'd be a little bit of a rebel. I kind of would wear anything I wanted to, but I would go easy on the sprays if it was a heavier, richer fragrance. I might only put one or two sprays on of like a gourmand or something heavy. For me personally, for summer night fragrances, I like things that maybe feel a little bit syrupy and a little bit spicy. And things like Zurius Rouge by Givenchy, which is like a modern take on a fougere. I do think it has a little bit of the jupe DNA, but I think it's much better. I also really like cactus fragrances for summer nights. Fragrances that have cactus and mate and things like that. So those are some of my favorite notes. Figs can do really well. You know, if it's super hot, fig might not work in the high heat for you. So you could definitely pick out something like Fico di Amalfi by Acqua di Parma for your summer nights. Running errands, a really great fragrance for that is Le Eau Froid by Serge Lutens, in my opinion. It's one of those icy lemonade fragrances. There's, I'm trying to remember what it's called. There's a Mercedes fragrance that supposedly smells just like Dior Homme cologne. So you might want to get that one. I forget what it's called. It's like Mercedes Man. So I forget. It's blue. It's a little bit of a circular type of bottle. So you could check that one out. Y'all know about Dior Homme cologne getting hard to get, discontinued. Y'all know about all those brands and those houses that have been, kind of either bought out or discontinuing their fragrances. Mercedes Benz cologne, that's the one. That's a great bang for your buck. A great fragrance for running errands and carefree. If you have a little bit more money, it's not terribly expensive, but I think it's a great one. It's Remarkable People by Etat Libre d'Orange. I think it's great. Some people might say that there's a tiny bit of this curry vibe in the background, but to me it doesn't stand out. But I think it would be great for wearing errands. I think it does great in the heat. I love that little bit of that culinary vibe to come out in the heat, and it's a very playful, beautiful, citrusy, kind of boozy, slightly boozy fragrance. Very well done, very well composed. I prefer it much over the fragrance called was it Someone Like You? I prefer it a lot over that one. And a lot of fragrance reviewers have talked about You or Someone Like You from Etat Libre d'Orange. It might be the easiest one to wear out of the bunch, but especially when some of the Etat Libre d'Oranges are a little bit odd. But I do have to say that I was really disappointed. I don't want to spoil my review of that one, but I was really disappointed in that fragrance. I think there was like 3 different big fragrance reviewers who said essentially that You or Someone Like You was essentially the best of the house, or kind of the easiest to wear, and all these kinds of things. It might be the easiest one to wear, but it's not very exciting, and I don't think it's anything particularly special. If you are a mint lover, you might want to get into it if you like that dirty mint vibe, but I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's anything special. Um, Hopefully, I helped you out there, Abner. Happy to help you. Luke says Grand Soir is one of my faves. Yes, There's a big following behind that fragrance, and it's really, really good. Really, really good fragrance for sure. I personally haven't found one from Maison Francis Kurkdjian that I've fallen in love with that I have to buy, but I hope that I can find one that I love. But that is a good one though. But everybody has a different personality. I hope that I can find one from them that I want, that I would personally own. I have 14% power, guys, so that means I only got like 10 minutes or so. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon. But I do appreciate it. But I'm not saying goodbye yet. But I do want to thank y'all for being here with me. Hanging out with me, being my friends. Honestly, I got on here a little bit late, and I always worry. I'm like, are people going to be here or not? And it might be the perfect time to actually get off, because some clouds are coming in. Listen, guys, when you hear wind like that come in a coastal area like where I'm at, and you hear the wind come down like this, and then some leaves are coming down, and then you can feel the moisture in the air. It's gonna rain soon. You can smell it. If you I don't know if you've ever been a coastal person or familiar that much. It might rain a little bit later tonight, but I adore Givenchy Tiger Amber. It's an amber scent. I'll have to check that one out. I honestly haven't heard much about that one. Is it discontinued? Givenchy Tiger. You always help me out. Thank you, Ben. I trust your nose. Yep, I definitely encourage you to get samples if you can, or go to the mall once the world gets back to normal. But I appreciate you. I'm definitely here to help you. I do hope that people with similar taste and similar, I don't know, opinions about fragrances do find me, because I do have my own style, my own preferences, and there's all kinds of different fragrance lovers out there. Some people almost exclusively wear fresh fragrances. Some people out there almost always prefer floral scents. There's some people out there who might there's all kinds of different people. Some people out there might heavily prefer fougères. Some people out there might really heavily prefer spicy scents. I personally have a big preference for musk fragrances, leather fragrances, and gourmands. And of course, I do love some of my notes. I do like mint. I do like salt. I do like that aromatic feel with fragrances like those airy patchoulis and those kinds of scents. So, happy to help you. Happy to help. Anyways, before I have to run and before I have to go, I do want to let y'all know that I'll be on tomorrow night as well. I'll be on 6 p.m. I'll do my darnest to make it at the right time for you guys. And I'm very sorry that I did not show up at the same time. I mean, the right time that I was supposed to. Polo Red Extreme. Honestly, I don't remember if I've tried that one yet. I think it's discontinued. There was a lot of popularity behind it. I think that fragrance added some coffee to the original Polo Red DNA. That's my favorite gourmand. Yes, that's a very playful gourmand. It's a very likable gourmand. It definitely is a gourmand that you could. It's fairly versatile and probably will get you a lot of positive attention. It's a little bit, maybe it doesn't project the biggest, but when people smell it on you, it's a pretty likable gourmand. Some gourmands are very food like and very dessert like. It can work if your partner is in the mood, but if you're just walking around the average person, you smell like a chocolate bar. Um, some people might like it, and some people might think it's funny. So it has coffee and cranberry, actually. Okay, I didn't know they switched up the. No, I think I knew it was cranberry, but sometimes I call it red berries. But yeah, does it smell even more like a cranberry? It does have a good smell though. Oh, Polo Red Extreme. Am I getting the two mixed up? The Polo. Oh, never mind. I think there is a couple flankers of Polo Red, isn't there? Aren't there? Hmm. Not sure about that. I might have to give them a go. Polo Red was actually one of the first fragrances I ever bought. The regular Polo Red. I did like it, and mostly because I was attracted to the saffron in it. But that playfulness really isn't my type of vibe. I really do prefer either smelling super classy or super seductive. Like four of them. Oh, so you like them all? You're a Polo Red guy. Hey, if you love fragrance DNA and if it works for you, rock it, man. More power to you. I might have to try that Polo Red Extreme though if it's got coffee in it. I do like coffee in fragrances, and the regular Polo Red was just a little bit too playful for me. But the saffron in the fragrance really did attract me, and they spent all the money in the top notes. That fragrance, all the magic is in the top. The dry down, in my opinion at least, doesn't it doesn't really hold up. The beauty's in the opening, and it's a shame that it really doesn't handle or stand up in the dry down. So, most lol. You like the Polo Red the most? Is that what you're trying to tell me, my friend, Arthur? Polo Red Rush is meh. Others are pleasing. Okay, I don't know if I've even seen Polo Red Rush. Must have been a limited edition. Did it sell very well? Who knows? Who knows? Anyways, I do want to admit my shortcomings if it does appear, it does seem like I do have them, because I do. That I'm very laid back, but I hope that y'all like that. I'm very easygoing. As y'all can tell, I'm being true to myself. I'm not putting on a show, not putting on a face. This is not a mask. This is me, Benjamin. Hope you like what you're seeing. So, I probably got to go, guys. I probably have 5% power or something like that. But again, before y'all go, please check me out on Instagram. I do go live just about every morning. If you want to see more of this face, hear more of this voice, I am pretty active on Instagram. And if you want to be more involved, definitely check me out there. Yes, I have 5% power now. I'm about to die. But, guys, I don't really get on Facebook much. But if you do want to see more of me, Scentitar Fragrance on Instagram. But feel free to reach out to me on Facebook Messenger or on Instagram. I prefer Instagram. And just message me if you have questions, if you want other suggestions. If you want to talk with me throughout the day or throughout the week, I do try to, respond as quickly as I can. So I'll see you next time, my friends. Be smelling great. I wish you the very best. Be safe, my friends. Be well. Be careful. And I hope that y'all are safe. I wish you the very best, my people. And, wear what you love. That's what it's all about. Enjoying the fragrance game, enjoying the fragrances, and just having a good time with scents. That's what this is all about. And I'll see you next time, everybody. Peace out. Y'all know the drill. And bye. I'll see ya. Have a good one.